Okay, so
No,
this
it disappeared on mine.
so this is 2.0 and
Hang on, let's make sure.
I got it back.
Everybody's got it back.
okay. So this is so we talked about how to set up a LinkedIn profile, and this one is how to maximize your LinkedIn profile.
Yep, flipping handouts.
Where is the handout? Do you have the handouts for this? I think we have a handout for this. He'll pass those around. Okay. Okay, so in this presentation, we're going to look at maximizing your presence on LinkedIn. And there's two ways that you can do that.
I'm taking one and passing it.
So the first way is on posting content, and the second way is on writing content. I'll wait till everybody gets one. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the specifics on how you actually can post content on LinkedIn. So if you are on Facebook, then you know the basics of posting content. You write something in the box and then you click post. But there are some settings on LinkedIn that you should know that are about how to deal with the information that you post and who you're going to share your information with. So when you're on LinkedIn, to start your post, you'll want to look at the top of your news feed. There is a rectangular box with the words "Start a Post" inside of it. Okay. And then to the left of that is a pencil and a paper icon. And there are also 3 icons to the right of the box, and you want to click on Start a Post link. So once you do that, another box is going to appear, and it's going to contain your profile photo and a question. What do you want to talk about? And then you'll want to click at the beginning of that question and place the cursor there. And then once you start writing, the question will disappear. And then LinkedIn is going to provide suggestions for hashtags at the bottom, which you can choose. We'll talk more about those hashtags in a little bit. But there's 4 icons at the bottom of the box that correspond to adding a photo, adding a video, adding a document, or giving a kudos. So just like well, and it could be too, I do have a paid version of LinkedIn. So does everybody have a free version or the paid version? Or because I think there's different levels of LinkedIn that you can buy to. So similar to Facebook, you can mention somebody in your post using the @ symbol before their name. So if you just start typing their name, and then LinkedIn will make suggestions based on what you're typing, and then you can just click on one of them to choose the correct one. And then once you're done with your post, then you click the next button in the bottom right-hand side of the box. And then another box is going to pop up with another question, which is who can see this post? And then LinkedIn is asking you who you want to see the post. So the options are anyone. And then anyone plus will be posted to your Twitter account if you connect your LinkedIn with your Twitter connections. And then you can also post the content to any of your LinkedIn groups that you're a member of. And then after you've made your selection, you'll click the post button in the bottom right-hand corner of the box. What was that?
Yeah.
Yes, after you hit next, it's going to ask you who you want to share the post with. So when you're posting the content on LinkedIn in your news feed, then you have options. You can post text only, text with a link, text in a photo, text in a video, and then text with a link and a video. So when you write your post, not only can you mention someone in your post with the @ symbol, but you can also use a hashtag. So does everybody know what a hashtag is? It's the #. So when you put the hashtag symbol in front of a word, you turn it, or the # in front of a word, you turn it into a hashtag, and then that makes it easier for people that are searching for related content to find that content. So most of the social media platforms utilize hashtags: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And so LinkedIn will also provide suggestions for your hashtags. And LinkedIn will suggest hashtags before you start writing your post based on the information that you have in your profile. And then the platform will suggest additional hashtags as you write the post. So one of the important things about hashtags on LinkedIn is that it helps to increase the visibility of your post. And so people that are outside of your network who are searching for posts related to a specific hashtag now have the opportunity to find your post. For example, if you post something with the hashtag veterinary career, then everyone on LinkedIn who is searching for posts with that hashtag veterinary career then can see your post. So has anybody tried that before, using the post with the hashtag? Okay. So now we're going to go through the posting options that you have on LinkedIn, starting with posting a text with a link. So for example, if I was to write a post and include a link to one of the candidate blog posts that are on the VetRecruiter website, then LinkedIn will load what is called a link preview. And then that preview takes the form of a photo that LinkedIn is going to pull from the website, usually the photo that was published with the blog post. So while LinkedIn does provide a link preview for blog posts, URLs, and individual pages of a website, it doesn't always provide one for the main URL. For example, it's not going to provide a link preview for the main page of the VetRecruiter website, which is thevetrecruiter.com. You can post content with both a link and a photo. And if LinkedIn provides a LinkedIn preview for your link, then you can just X out of it. And there's an X in the upper right-hand portion of the preview. So you just click that X, and then the preview will disappear. And then you hover over the camera icon in the lower left-hand side of the posting box, and then the words "Share Images" will appear. And then you click on the words and then navigate to the photo on your computer that you want to add. So you can do the same thing with both videos and documents. And then the icons for those two are located next to the camera icon. And then to the far right is a Give Kudos icon, which is shaped like a medal. And then after you click on that icon, then you'll be prompted to search for the colleague that you want to recognize. And then a quick note about posting photos on LinkedIn. If you post a large photo, then LinkedIn might cut the photo off in your newsfeed. So it'll look like a photo where somebody cut off the edges. So you have to be careful about the size of the photo and make sure that it's appropriate for LinkedIn for the size that they recommend. So when it comes to posting, you might be thinking, okay, how should I post if I want to get the maximum exposure for my post? For maximum exposure, you'll want to make your post public and use hashtags. And then the content of your post should be timely and relevant to your followers so that they'll find it interesting and want to engage. And then those who also use Facebook could be of the opinion that including a photo or a video link is a good way to get more exposure. However, with LinkedIn, that is not always the case. So according to an article published by Social Media Today last year in October, LinkedIn posts that don't have a photo get anywhere between 14 and 42 times more views than a post with a link and a link preview. And that sounds counterintuitive, but that's what the research shows. So all of your text LinkedIn post will not automatically receive a lot of engagement because you didn't include a link and there is no link preview in the post. So there's some other things that you should do as well. For example, like I mentioned before, you want to use hashtags in your post, specifically the ones that LinkedIn is suggesting for you. And then second, you want to share some tips for success with your followers. And then third, share your opinion on topics that your followers are going to care about. And then fourth, share a personal experience, especially if it relates to something in your professional life that your followers can also relate to. But the key of all of this is to share something of value. And if you post something of value, then others are going to be more likely to engage with your post. And if you post without a link, then it's even more likely that you're going to be noticed.
I'll also just say that about 2 or 3 years ago, the type of user on LinkedIn flipped. So now majority of users are looking at it on a cell phone. So keep that in mind. If you're posting, you want to keep things relatively short and concise, because people are very impatient. They're not going to scroll more than twice.
Yeah, that's a good
or they lose interest.
Yeah. Okay, so you might be wanting to know if videos and photos are going to help with your post. And so the answer to that is including a photo or a video does not have the same effect as including a link. So it does not necessarily mean that fewer people will engage with your post if you post a picture or video. But if you adhere to the other tips that I suggested and you're offering value to your followers, then you're going to get more engagement. So I personally believe that when somebody has shared a link in a post, it's almost as if their followers see that person as lazy, like they just slapped a link on there about a topic that they think was interesting. So although the link might contain something of value, it's the perception that's most important, and perception is reality. So if you want to be perceived by your followers as someone who provides value, you want to be perceived as someone that provides value to your followers, so they'll want to keep following your post on LinkedIn. So let's say that you have something to share, like an idea that will require more space than a typical post can provide. There's an opportunity for you to write a blog post for LinkedIn Pulse. Has anybody ever used LinkedIn Pulse? One person, okay. I'm losing my voice. So to do that, you have to go back to the rectangular box at the top of your feed, the one where we shared the regular post before. And then you'll notice at the bottom of the box that there's an oval with the words write an article. And that's what you're going to click on to start your blog post on LinkedIn Pulse. So when you do that, you'll navigate to the next page, which will contain a number of elements, which are a place for your headline of your post, where to write your post, and then a place to put an image across the top of your post, a plus sign between two photo icons. And then there's an editing widget across the top of the page, which allows you to add italics, bolding, bullet points, links, and some other things. So on this slide, you can see the layout of the LinkedIn Pulse blog post template and what is available when you click write an article link. So here's a few tips for writing a LinkedIn Pulse blog post. So the same rules apply to your blog post as apply to your regular LinkedIn post. You want to write something that your connections are going to think is valuable and make it relevant and interesting so your connections will be engaged. And then second, you should make your title between 40 and 49 characters, because according to an article on okdork.com, posts with the titles of that link receive the greatest number of post views overall. So 40 to 49 characters. And then third, you should include a header image with your post, and that's the plus sign between the two photo icons that I was mentioning a minute ago. Okay, the best size to upload is 600 by 322 pixels, but you can also double that size to 1200 by 644 pixels. And then some additional tips from the okdork.com website is you want to strive to include additional images throughout your blog post. Don't include videos or other multimedia assets within your post, because posts with those elements don't perform as well. And then don't write headlines in the form of a question. And then don't use how-to and list style headlines. And then the optimal length of your post should be between 1,900 and 2,000 words, but the longer, the better. And then the best day to publish on Pulse is on Thursday. Yes. So something else that you should.
Done with this talk, out there.
Fridays are all taking the day off. So something else that you want to do on your post is to include a call to action. And that's because they may not be connected with you on LinkedIn, because you can read the Pulse article without being a connection. So your call to action could be to check out your LinkedIn profile or to connect with you, or maybe to check out your Twitter feed or another website. So your call to action can be individual and specific to that situation.
Can you go through the button to get there? Because her and I are apparently widget dummies.
Yes.
What's the button that you push when you're on LinkedIn, when you go to the new article? How do you get it to be a Pulse article?
So let me go through this last page and then I'll come back to that. Just so I get through that. Okay. So there is an article on neilpatel.com, and the best size to upload is, let's see. Should I already tell you that?
600.
Yeah.
622.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. So when you're ready to publish, there are 3 rectangular boxes on the upper right-hand side. The one on the far right is blue, and it has the word publish, and that's the button that you want to push. And then there are 2 other buttons there. One is for the draft of the blog post, and then one says more. So when you click that button, you'll see a start a news article, articles, and help center. And then if you don't publish a post, it'll be saved in your drafts. And then when you do publish the post, it'll be located under your articles. And then when you do publish, your connections and followers are going to get a notification about your post. And then specifically, it's going to show up on their notifications and within their feed. Okay, so this is actually a LinkedIn Pulse. It's an example of a blog that I did on LinkedIn post, and it's a title, Does Your Boss Support You in Your Career? So I made the mistake. I did that in the form of a question. But you can't see all of the header image, but you can see that it goes all the way across the top of the page. So something else that you may want to share on LinkedIn are presentations that you've done in the past, and you can share those as part of your profile. So let's say that you've done a presentation at a conference and you've spoken and you want to share your presentation on LinkedIn. Then you do this by first sharing the presentation on SlideShare. And actually LinkedIn owns SlideShare and Microsoft owns LinkedIn. But that means using SlideShare is a better way to share your slides as opposed to using a Dropbox URL on your profile. So the first thing you want to do is to make sure that your SlideShare and your LinkedIn account your LinkedIn accounts are connected. If they're not, you'll get a prompt from LinkedIn just asking you to connect them. So just follow those prompts. And then for SlideShares that you've already published, you'll want to go to the My Uploads, which is located in the top right-hand part of the page under your profile picture, and then hover over the SlideShare that you want to add, and then add to profile. And then when you upload a new SlideShare, you'll see the option to add it to your LinkedIn profile, and then all of the SlideShares will be added to the summary section of your profile. So this was a lot of stuff, and I can go over if anybody has questions in a minute. But networking is one of the best things that you can do for your career, and I think you should be proactive about networking. Hiring managers and employers or recruiters are looking at your LinkedIn profile, so you'll want to really spend some time and effort and energy on it. They also notice when you don't have a profile. I mean, there's still probably about 25, when I look at a company directory, I can see about 25 to 30% of the people are not on LinkedIn. And I was talking to a scientist recently who's not on LinkedIn. I said, why are you not on LinkedIn? He said, well, I don't want people to find me. But he's, he's close to retirement, so that's probably fine.
I think that percentage is higher in the veterinary industry too.
I think it is higher in the veterinary industry too.
Veterinarians are not.
Yeah, but sometimes people are just, I look for people, sometimes they're not on LinkedIn, and I wonder why they're not on there. So it's a good way for business development. It's a good way to find job opportunities. It's a good way to showcase your skills and your qualifications and your awards and accolades. So if you're not on there, I highly recommend it.